welcome back. Stasa23 here, back again with some knife therapy. And today I have for you my top 10 folding knives for 2021 in the price range from $50 to $100. And we're going to get started, go from 10 all the way down to 1. And I have some cheaper alternatives to some of these knives that I will show you all as well. And coming in at number 10, this one I don't think was produced in 2021, but I know I didn't have it till 2021, so if not, I'm sorry for that. And that is the QSP Hawk. This is the S35VN Vera Wood model. I got this off of drop.com for, I think it was like right at $100. I think now they're really 105 at most dealers, so this one's like, you know, in that borderline. So apologize for that, but you may be able to find it for $100 somewhere. I was shocked by how thinly ground this knife was and how well it sliced. I mean, it really slices well. Action's very fidgety. You got a nice crisp detent. You got that dual deployment with that flipper, and the thumb studs work just right. Deep carry pocket clip. Is it? Yeah, tip up left or right hand, is it? Nope, just tip up right hand, my bad. Liner lock, comfortable ergos, fills out my hand nicely. I have a little bit left to spare. The only thing I will say is that after a while, that flipper tab can start to be a little annoying. It's not like super aggressive, but just the shape. It doesn't give you a whole lot. It's a low profile flipper tab. So that's my number 10, the QSP Hawk. All right, coming in at number 9, we have one from CIVIVI, and that is the Savivi Bow. This would have probably made it higher on the list, but I haven't had as much time as some of these other knives with this knife. The bow is a Brad Zinker design. I love all of his simplistic designs. They just simple, they work. This thing is a slicing machine. If you hadn't seen the review of this, check it out. I've reviewed pretty much all of these knives. Contoured G10 scales. You can get a fancier version than this one, but the G10 variant in this exact configuration, you can get it for $66. I think that's a steal of a deal. Nitro V stainless steel, which is an excellent higher end budget steel, we could say. Great action, comfortable. It's a medium to smaller size knife. Once again, tip up right hand carry only. I don't understand that. A lot of these full flat grind. Barely thin blade stock, so it's going to be a slicing machine and great like office carry. That blade shape is going to be good for a lot of different tasks. That is the Savivi Bow. All right, coming in at number 8, we have a behemoth coming from Max Ace, and that is the Sandstorm K. Yep, it fits in frame. This bad boy has a 4.3 inch blade of Bowler K110 steel, similar to D2. I find it can definitely be better than D2, I find. And this one, the heat treated on it's good. The action on this thing is ridiculously smooth. You got those oversized thumb studs. And I thought, you know, being that this was such a beast of a knife, that it was just going to be like a folding pry bar, basically. But this thing comes down to a nice and thin edge, like really thin edge. I think it's like 14 thousandths if I remember correctly. Riding on bearings. Slice is amazing, and you have so much cutting edge to dull out before you have to resharpen this knife. It says like a two-tone finish on this one, and I picked this one up for $95 at KNIFEWORKS in Columbia, Louisiana, and excellent value if you're looking for a huge folder. It's like 10 inches overall. Go check out my review if you hadn't seen it. That's the only reason this one is, you know, so far down on the list, because it's not, you know, something I carry all the time because of the sheer size of it. So that is the Max Ace Sandstorm K. Alrighty, next up was a new maker for me, and that is number 7, the Cubist Bladeworks variant PE, which is production version of his custom variant. And a ton of y'all recommended that I pick this up. I had been following Jacob Lundquist for a while now, and I didn't know this was available yet. I'm definitely glad I followed y'all advice. I think I did the unboxing the other day, maybe yesterday. I don't know when it actually came out. But you have a 14C28N blade. That's what really kind of drove me to want to go check this one out. And QSP is the OEM. They do good work. And you can get this knife for $69. Super smooth action on bearings. That blade hole, you can get to it from both sides, the spotty flick and the thumb flick. And let's see, yeah, you can spotty flick it left-handed as well. But once again, this is tip up right hand carry only. Sorry, peeps, I didn't make this. So there you go. That's a Cubist Bladeworks variant PE coming in at the number 7 spot. All right, coming in at number 6. We have one coming from Wright Knives, and that is the Wright M662-TZ. And this is just a upgraded version of their 662 model. And if you've been following the channel long enough, you know that it's one of my favorite budget knives for the money. It's a cheap or budget knife, but they decided to upgrade it with 154 CM steel, which I love 154. It's a well-balanced steel. It does a great job if it's heat treated properly. Still have the same G10, but also they put a titanium frame lock on this. They changed the clip out, which I rather this clip than the one it came with. Very, very smooth action on such a small knife. Just a great detail-oriented, you know, if you like doing tip work, you have a very, very acute point for piercing or doing those drag cuts. Also, they included bearings in this one, and you can get this right here for $80. I think that's a pretty good value for what you're getting. Now, two quick things. I wish they had a thumb stud on this side so you could, you know, spotty flick and do other stuff like that. And you got to be careful, because if you put your finger on that lock bar at all, if you even breathe on it, it's gonna kill your finger trying to get it out. Mine's breaking in nicely, and I don't have the problems much anymore. Once you break it in, you could probably, you know, at least breathe on it. But good little folder anyway. And if you wanted something maybe a little bit cheaper than the Wright, you could go with the CIVIVI Baby Banter if you're trying to stay in that small range. And I chose the Baby Banter because with that forward choil, you get almost a little bit more grip area, just a smaller blade. The Baby Banter has Nitro V stainless steel, so both quality stainless steels. You can get the Baby Banter for $59, so a little bit cheaper. And this one is tip up left or right hand carry. It's not a frame lock though, but very smooth, riding on bearings, comfortable, and get the tiny little knife. And there you go. Alrighty, coming in at number 5, we have one from CIVIVI, and that is a CIVIVI Pintail. This is one steal of a deal, in my opinion. If you're looking for a great bargain with a high-end steel, this is the knife to go for. This one's in CPM S35 VN steel. CIVIVI put a great hollow grind on there, so it's nice and thin behind the edge, and it stays like that for a good little ways up. Thumb stud deployer, also a flipper deployer. Micarta, it's okay. It's that cheaper micarta. Riding on bearings, deep carry pocket clip, tip up left or right hand carry. You can get this right now on sale pretty much anywhere for $74. $74, it's going to be hard to beat that. The only reason this one doesn't make it a little bit higher, because I wish the handle was just a hair longer. I have a medium-sized hand, and I just get 4 fingers on there, or I could, you know, remove that flipper tab, one of the two. But it's a great knife anyway. All these knives I recommend. So there you go. All right, coming in at number 4. These next 4 are very tough, and this is another KIZER. That is the KIZER Critical Mini. This is a Matt Christensen collaboration. They started it out a couple of years ago with the full size, and it was a titanium frame lock with S35 VN steel. This one is in, is it on this side? CPM 3V. Excellent steel. Now, it's not a stainless. That's why they coated the blade. But they also have a satin version if you'd like. This is the flipper delete version. I find this one to be the most attractive. And you can kind of get up a little bit closer on there because you don't have that flipper tab. The only thing I will say, if you're not going to get one of the flipper models, because they have 3 variants right now or more. They have a lot of variants of it right now. I have 3 personally. That's how much I like the knife. This one's in G10. They have one with micarta and a satin blade. Like I said, G10 coated blade, riding on bearings, very smooth action, pretty slicey blade. And 3V is a high-end steel. You can get this knife right here for, I think, $89. And that is excellent bargain. But if you didn't want to pay that much for a knife, you could get another KIZER, the KIZER horn. So you kind of have somewhat of that same reverse tanto blade shape. You can get this bad boy for $56. You get contoured micarta scales, linen micarta scales, multiple opening methods, which the other version of this you can get has multiple opening. Well, one of the exclusives does. You got that thumb hole. You can spotty flick it. You can the best action, the best one of the deployment methods is probably the flipper tab. It comes out so fast like that. Riding on bearings, very smooth action, very comfortable in hand, locks you in very nicely. Detail work on both of these is excellent. This one is in N690 stainless steel. It's a more budget version. You know, 3V's got a higher end. It's going to hold an edge longer than this by a good bit, but it's a cheaper alternative. Now, also, this one's tip up left or right hand carry. This is only tip up right hand carry. So if you're a lefty, maybe this will be the better choice. All right, coming in at number 3 spot. These were very hard to pick. It's coming from Spyderco, and that is the Spyderco Tenacious Lightweight. I know this is going to be an unpopular decision, but I tested it, I reviewed it, and I've used this thing extensively. It performed great. It held an edge really well. If you ever liked the Tenacious, but you hated the 8CR like me, excellent upgrade. $98. It's got phosphor bronze washers. It's nice and smooth. It may not be the prettiest to some people, but if you want something that's going to slice well, hold a good edge, and not have to spend a ton of money, this is a good option. That full flat ground, broad blade, comes down to a decently thin edge, and it's comfortable in my hand. 4-way positional pocket clip, so it takes care of both sides. You can easily deploy it left-handed and gets that lock bar easily as well. You can also spotty flick it left-handed. So this could be, you know, something for those lefties out there. But if this just doesn't do it for you or it's too expensive, here's another non-fan favorite, or for some people, this is coming from CIVIVI, and it is this. This is the CIVIVI Button Lock Elementum. You know, this would have definitely made it probably to the either number 1 or number 2 for me if it would have been a regular button lock instead of this basically gravity knife almost, where you don't have a thumb stud, because this thing performs outstanding. You got decently thin blade stock, nice and thin hollow grind, 14C 28N blade steel. I love the grip on this. Micarta scales, button lock, super smooth action. I mean, look at that. Very smooth. 14C is an excellent steel, and CIVIVI does a good job with it. Tip up, left or right hand carry. So for me, if it would have had a pocket, if it would have just had a thumb stud and you could have used it as a normal button lock, it would have been a gem, in my opinion. But that's me. You can get this one for $59. So like I said, a little cheaper, but you are getting a little bit downgrade in steel. But it's a good steel for the money. That is the CIVIVI Button Lock Elementum. All right, coming in at number 2. Wow, these next 2 were super hard, and I have others just in case you don't like this. Number 2, coming from CJRB, it is the Scroria. At first, I didn't really get it. I thought this should have been a artisan branded knife. It's kind of teeter-tottering on that line. But the more I use this knife and the more I carry it, I like it a lot. It's got their proprietary AR RPM 9 stainless steel that I've tested extensively. I've tested this one extensively. If you can't see that right there, if you hadn't seen the review and testing of this one, the action's amazing. It's a fidgety knife. It's got a milled blind screw titanium pocket clip. Now it is tip up left or right hand carry, as you can see. And it has just a nice little accent with that pivot ring around here. You can get it in my card as well with a non-coated blade, but this is just the one that I chose. You got nicely contoured G10 scales, flow through construction, inset. It's an inset liner lock where the liner and the liners are inside the G10. Just very smooth action, and it's gotten smoother and smoother as we go. You can get the Scroria for 70 bucks, but if you don't feel like spending 70 bucks or you wanted to get something in, say, 154 CM, I don't know, you could try the KIZER Rapids. This is another one that I just haven't had enough time with it to put it any higher, but I gotta say, this thing is stupid smooth. Look at it. It's ridiculous. This is probably the second smoothest knife on this list today. You're about to see the smoothest in a second. Nice and slicey blade on here, 154 cm. These scales are beautiful. You got linen micarta that is actually inside. They milled out a channel of this contoured G10 and they inset it into the G10, and it's pretty darn comfortable. Comfortable, deep carry pocket clip, tip up left or right hand carry, easy access to that lock bar, super slicey, 154 cm stainless steel. Wish they would have stonewashed this. I don't like when they do this just flat black like that. I don't know, it's kind of like reflective or shiny looking. That's just me. You can get this one for 53 bucks. So $70 for the AR RPM 9, $53 for the 154. I haven't tested this one yet, but I have tested a good bit of their 154, and it's comparable to this AR RPM 9 powdered metallurgy steel. So that is my number 2 pick. All right, the number 1 pick, I definitely did not see it playing out this way, but it is what it is, and I like what I like. So the number 1 pick, another knife coming from KIZER, and that is the regular Sheepdog, not the mini, the regular Sheepdog. The Sheepdog's been around for a while, but this version with the thumb hole and the flipper delete came out this year. Super comfortable, very, very comfortable. You can choke up, and this thing is a slicing machine. 154 cm steel. See, I wish they would do this more often. This is their black wash, that stone wash black finish on there. That looks way better. It hides wear better, in my opinion. You might like the flat black. I'm not a huge fan of that. Stupid smooth. You can access it easily on both sides. Spidey flick it. Comfortable. Now it is tip up right hand carry only, so that might be a deal breaker for some of the lefties. Easy access to that lock bar. This one is $84, and they have a really good cheaper alternative from the same family. Just haven't had enough time for it to say if it beats this one out yet, but that is the KIZER Towser K. Is it? Yeah, Towser K. The scales aren't contoured on here, but you have rich light scales that look cool. They have this hexagonal pattern on it. You have a little deeper choil than that. It feels a little strange, but I have started testing this one, and it's fine. This one is the knife I was talking about. This is the smoothest knife on this list. Just watch this. I got to be careful because it will guillotine me. 154 cm steel, so you got the same steel. This is in a satin finish. I did notice that the Sheepdog is a little bit better of a slicer, And I guess it's just because the Sheepdog is coming down to 15 thousandths, at least mine is, and this Towser K is coming down to 18 thousandths. So it's a very small difference, and it could have just been one was sharper than the other when I was testing it. Tip up, left or right hand carry. So hey, lefties, if you want to have a pocket clip on the left side, go with the Towser K. So both of these are awesome little knives. I have thoroughly enjoyed the Sheepdog this year. It's got a ton of use behind it, and I can easily put it at the #1 spot and not feel bad about it. Like I said, I test these knives thoroughly, and before I recommend anything, I try to make sure it's a-okay. So there you go. That is my top 10 $50 to $100 price range. Let me know which one's your favorite, which ones you would have added to this that came out in 2021, or what you would have changed in my list. I mean, I know some people wouldn't have added this, but after the performance, it was hard not to. So there you go. If you have any questions, comments, concerns, please leave them down below. I hope everybody's having an absolutely wonderful day. I will see y'all on the next one. Peace.